this picture that I seen comes from an old fear, and it could be true. This is a real chariot, but it comes from an old saying, an old thing of Poseidon fighting in battles. Because in Egyptian philosophy, nobody put their chariots in water at all. People usually didn't fight like that. People usually fought. You said it yourself. People usually don't put their chariots in water in other cultures, but in this so-called, I wouldn't say Egyptian, but in the Bible, it says people did that. But in reality, as far as Egyptian culture, nobody did that. Nobody put their chariot in water.
Yeah, of course not. That's why they all drowned, because when they went into the Red Sea and the Gulf of Suez and the waters covered them over again, they drowned in it. That's why
and that's scary. And that's a scary thing. That's scary. You know what? That's scary. That little story you said, that's scary. They said that to people a long time ago in Greek mythology about Poseidon. People were getting scared about chariots and water. Like, they were saying that to the people back in the day. They were saying that to them, but not in the Egyptian philosophy. They never told nobody that, oh, people bringing chariots and water, drownings, and nobody brought that up. Okay. So I just think that perhaps the Bible is mentioning the Egyptians doing that. But in reality, what they're trying to say is that, the people who came through people who were driving through the Red Sea were really just saying that, but nobody really did that. It was just some story we used to say about Poseidon.
Okay, so my question.
Egyptian really never did that. No Egyptian really never did that. But we can show you some evidence of a chariot. That's no problem. We can just like the land on the moon landing. Okay.
So my question to you is how did the chariots end up in the bottom of the sea then? How?
With technology, all you got, just the same way that photo was taken down there. That the way they got the photo equipment, a submarine. I mean, there's lots of different things I can put down there and make it look like an artifact if I really wanted to.
So people would go through all of that. People would go through all of that hassle to make a lie about an ancient.
Yeah, it's like the moon. Yeah.
Okay, but like I said to you, this whole thing of Poseidon. My only question to you now is then, if you don't believe that, is how can something of mythology be translated or compared to something that people now supposedly staged? Because you're not saying that it actually happened. You're saying that this whole...
Okay, so mythology was staged too. Mythology was staged in the form of stories. Back then they didn't have pictures. It was spread by word of mouth, right?
Okay, so you're saying that the account in the Bible of the crossing of the Gulf of Suez, commonly known as the Red Sea, was staged or didn't happen?
It happened to the fact they planted the evidence there.
No, but in terms of it actually happening, it didn't happen.
No, that's not old. It's like the moon landing. It's a fake evidence planted there, so you can believe in the Bible.
All right. So my question is, what's the proof? What's the proof?
They used to use high-ranking officers back then to spread the stories of Poseidon.
All right. So what's the proof of the pyramids being reeled in? How do we know that they weren't planted there a couple years ago?
Okay. Now, as far as the pyramids, those were there all around the world, actually.
Yeah, but how do you know they weren't planted? How do you know they just weren't planted by people that just came up on the scene?
Because when I see people like the Bible and all these other people bringing up their
but the Bible's not people. The Bible is a book, though.
Okay, so I know it's not, because look at the houses today. It's taken from Egypt. So if it was made yesterday or 1991 before I was born, then why is all the houses looking better than Egypt. They're a better version of Egypt. It looks like a more modern version of it.
Right.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, like if you look at the top of my house, it's a pyramid. Why is everyone taking it from that? Everything should look like pyramids right now. It should look just like
no. That's not the answer to the question. The question is same way that they supposedly planted the evidence of the chariots. How do we know that some recent some constructional engineers didn't go over there to Egypt and plant it? It's not about what the houses look like today.
Because if that was the structure, okay, so if that was made, always talk about evidence, okay.
Yeah, how do we know that wasn't planted there?
Because they're trying to show old evidence of a pyramid, and they never even admitted this either. Okay, that they're planning. They're admitting that this is old already, and this evidence right here. Okay, so you think the pyramids are? Do we think the pyramids are from a long time ago? Because I don't think it was. You think it was because I don't even believe me and you both don't believe that. So I don't know why we even.
Wait, so when do you think the pyramids were built then?
I don't know when they were built. I haven't done my research on it.
Okay, but do you think they're old or do you think they're new?
The pyramids, but I know it was before the houses, and I know it was before the buildings that we see now.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying so the people that lived in ancient Egypt, yeah, right? They obviously they didn't live inside of the pyramid. So where were they living there?
I haven't done my research, but I can get back with you to find out where they were living.
So do you not think the citizens of Egypt were living in houses?
But I'm talking about the site. I'm not even talking about where the people were living. I think they were living like in little houses. That was because the pyramids were like for the kings. I'm not the kings, but the pharaohs.
No, the palaces were for the pharaohs. The pyramids were built for sculptures and to be buried for the afterlife. So
what are we trying to say? Are we trying to say that the pyramids was made in 1981? Like, what are we trying to say here?
No, I'm not. I know when they were made. I'm just saying. I'm asking you, according to the logic that you're using, when possibly could the pyramids be built?
It had to be before a lot of the stuff we see today, like the 1500s. It had to be before then. Because the 1500s when a lot of misinformation, I believe, began as far as like, it's just a lot of stuff happened in the 1500s, so it has to be before then.
Okay, so it's before the 1500s.
Yeah, I had to be before then.
Okay, so they were built before the 1500s, but all right, cool. Fair enough, but you said to me at the start of our conversation that you said to me that it was the Egyptians that built the pyramids, and they were the first people there. So you're telling me the first people on planet Earth.
And I don't really have a good sense of Egypt because of all I know is from the Christian perspective. Honestly, I haven't even really studied Egypt. All I know is from the Christian perspective as far as the Prince of Egypt.
Okay. Like, so if you only know Egypt from the Christian perspective, my question is, what made you conclude, or what makes you believe that the Egyptians were the original people or the first people on planet Earth?
Because when you see the pictures, when you see first off, I know it was stolen. A lot of the things that Greeks use is stolen from Egypt.
No, I'm not talking about the Greeks though. I'm talking about the Greeks though. I'm talking about Egypt. Just forget everybody else. I'm talking about the Egyptians.
Why do I think they're the first?
Yeah.
Why do I think they're the first? Because like Greeks, we think when we wake up today and we live in America, they tell you Greeks pretty much did everything. So when you're taught that Greeks are told everything from the beginning of the age, and you're like, okay, Greeks started everything. Egypt, and you know that Egypt did. So it's like they have to be the first ones because Greeks, they're still in Greek. Everything that we learn is coming from Greece. And if you know that everything we're learning is coming from Greece and it's really from Egypt, and then also there's pictures too. But there's pictures of architects. architecture and paintings and stuff like that.
So you're telling me that this world is thousands of years old. Egyptians were the first people here, but the pyramids were only built around, well, sometime just before the 1500s. So where were they living? What were they doing all this time since the beginning of the world? And where did they come from? The Egyptians.
What were Egyptians doing?
Sorry?
You said what were Egyptians doing?
Yeah, what were they doing from the beginning of time then?
Okay, I have not done any research on Egyptians because it's very difficult. But I believe they were doing like astrology, writing math and words and things like that.
Where does the word maths come from?
I don't know.
Okay, once again, the word maths is a Hebrew word, but according to you, that mathematics is comes from the Egyptians. The word maths comes from the Hebrew word amath, which means truth. Okay, so if that's if it's an Egyptian concept, if mathematics is an Egyptian concept, then I want to know, where did they learn maths? Who's the one that came up with the concept of maths, and why is it called mathematics then?
Okay. And this answers about this. Okay.
And this all goes back to how were they the first people?
How would that help if I found out about math? Like, what would that do?
Because that would just tell me, like, if according to you, if they're the first people from the beginning of time, that would prove to me that the fundamentals of life, that they had some hand in creating it, because the fundamentals of life is understanding. If I
find out who created math in Egypt, that will show you that.
Well, there's many other things, but I'm just asking you to. That's the task I'm saying for you. I want to know, who in Egypt created mathematics then, because when I told you where it came from, you said that they those weren't the original people. So I want to know, from all the fundamentals of life, mathematics, chemistry, physics, okay, astrology, all of these things. I want to know who of the Egyptians created this, and what's the proof? What's the proof?
Okay, I'll do that, because I think this book that I have here, it talks about it all in here, but I just haven't really cared to. I already know it's the truth, so I go on trying to